And never believe it if people say to you that nothing can be done. There is always something that can be done. Every situation that faces us in the world can be changed for the better if we have the will. And this school can do much to show caring, both here locally and nationally, and internationally. It depends if we have the will and the desire for that. So said Terry Waite as he spoke to the assembled school at our official opening on the 1st of May 1986. He was speaking of his hope that we should grow as a community of learning and as a community of caring. He went on to express the wish that we should also grow as a committed community, committed to good standards, committed to good relationships between people of different backgrounds, different beliefs, different understandings. We are here today as a school family, with our friends, to celebrate Terry Waite's release. And as in all families, there are different ways of doing things, different shades of understanding, different degrees of commitment. But underpinning all this is the desire to grow as individuals and so make the world a better place. In a sense, in May 1986, Terry Waite was setting us a challenge. He was asking us where our courage would take us, where our courage would take us. He was asking each one of us what risks we were prepared to take. Were we prepared to sit back and accept society as it is, with all of its injustices? Or were we prepared to stand up and be counted and set about doing something to improve our community, whether we regard that community as the immediate neighborhood, or the nation, or the world? None of us could then have seen the cost that Terry Waite was prepared to accept in pursuit of justice and peace. In the 1763 days until Monday, he has taught us precisely what he meant in his challenge. Many newspaper column inches have been written about the qualities of Terry Waite. These can be read at another time. I should like us to remember just three things today. Firstly, Terry Waite came from an ordinary background, attending ordinary schools in Wilmslow and Stockton Heath. He left school at 16. I don't know what his last school report said, but it would seem that he was no academic high flyer. He was just an ordinary person in a school, if perhaps somewhat taller than most, and with somewhat larger feet than most. Size 14, I understand. The life of Jesus and the lives of all great people in religions other than Christianity testify to the fact that God works through the ordinary, and makes the ordinary into something holy. Secondly, in Terry Waite's ordinariness, there was something that was particular, something that was special, and it relates to his faith. Like many of us here, he grew up in a worshipping family. And at some stage, that faith of the family became a faith that he understood and a faith that he made his own. Terry Waite's fellow prisoners have testified to what that faith meant to him during his captivity and what in turn it meant to them. An ordinary man and a man of faith. So thirdly, Terry Waite had the courage of his convictions. We suspect that he knew full well the dangers of returning to the Lebanon in January 1987. You might call it foolhardy. You might call it reckless. The fact remains that he was intent on pursuing his humanitarian mission, driven on by his understanding of God's love and the way that that has to be worked out in the world by ordinary people. He had a courage born of his faith that gave him the strength to take risks. Now that was his message to us 6 years ago, and that would be his message to us now. That would be his message whether we're still at school or whether we've left school. That would be his message whether we're residents in Hume or leaders in the community in Hume or elsewhere in Manchester. There is always something that can be done. It depends on whether we have the will and the desire for that. As Edmund Burke said, for evil to triumph, it is only necessary for good people to do nothing.